Two more items left on the agenda. We're almost there, kids. Item number 14, emergency water restrictions and water conservation update. Diane.
Good
Short
evening.
showers.
Huh?
Short showers.
Short showers.
We only have half a glass of water tonight, so we're
Thank
doing
you.
our part. So,
Yeah.
So my presentation is on the emergency water restrictions and a water conservation update. The city has obtains its water through the Feather River, in which we have 4 contracts to obtain the water. 2 through the State Water Resources Control Board, 1 through the North Yuba Water District, and then 1 through the Department of Water Resources. Through previous years in which our Department of Water Resources contract exceeded our need, we were able to bank water, and so that's shown in the row for EWR SWP carryover, which SWP stands for State Water Project. And so what this table shows is that on a contract paper basis, we have 32,848 acre feet of water available to the city on an annual basis. Our current allotment based upon the drought is 18,040 acre feet, and the projected allotment for 2015, assuming that we have similar allotments to this year and that we use the majority of our carryover water, is approximately 12,600 acre feet. For reference purposes, the 2013 water demand for the city was 18,178 acre feet. And here's a graphical representation. So you can see on paper, we have plenty of water, but due to the drought, our 2014 water supply is close to what our 2013 water demand was, but our projections for 2015 are significantly less unless we have some major changes this winter in terms of rain and snowpack. So in January 2014, Governor Brown declared a drought state of emergency, in which he issued a proclamation requesting that Californians reduce water usage by 20% and local municipalities implement their water shortage conservation plans, which we did. In April of 2014, Governor Brown issued a proclamation of a continued state of emergency, in which he requested that Californians avoid using water to clean sidewalks, driveways, parking lots, and other hardscapes, turn off fountains that are not recirculating, which is one reason why Regency Park and Shanghai Garden Park, those spray playgrounds are not on. Limit vehicle washing at home by patronizing car washes, and limit outdoor watering of lawns to no more than twice a week. And then in July, due to the fact that statewide we did not reach the 20% conservation level, the State Water Resources Control Board approved emergency regulations to ensure that water suppliers, their customers, and state residents increase water conservation in urban settings, and require urban water suppliers to implement mandatory restrictions on outdoor watering. And for that, that's stage 3 of our water shortage conservation plan. So to give a brief information about the water shortage conservation plan, it's outlined in the city's urban water management plan, which is a document that's required to be updated every 5 years for the city. We have 4 stages based on required reduction in water demand. So as you can see, stage 3 results in a projected customer reduction goal of approximately 30%. Stage 4 would result in what would be estimated as a 40% reduction, which we're hoping we won't ever have to get into stage 4. So with that, the emergency water restrictions that have been put into place include avoiding using the water to clean hardscapes, turning off the fountains, do not use a hose to wash a motor vehicle unless the hose is fitted with a shutoff nozzle. And then this is the one that's really been difficult for people to embrace, and that's the limit of the outdoor watering of lawns to no more than 2 times per week. So that relates for even numbered addresses to watering on Wednesdays and Saturdays, odd numbered addresses watering on Thursdays and Sundays, and then for new lawns, they can water 3 times per day for 3 weeks. And so we just ask that customers call in and just let us know their address so that we'll put them on a list, and so we don't hand them any violations. And then for non-residential, they need to submit an irrigation plan to Public Works for large turf areas greater than half an acre if they're not going to comply with the 2 times per week. So enforcement measures, our municipal code outlines the enforcement measures once emergency water restrictions are enacted. These are surcharges on the water bill. So the first violation is a written warning. The second violation is a $50 surcharge on the next monthly water bill. The third violation is a $100 surcharge. And fourth and subsequent violations is $250 surcharge. We've really been trying to engage with customers to reinforce voluntary compliance rather than getting into an enforcement situation. We have had water patrols in place since July, going around handing out door hangers and providing information. The process as we move into the enforcement measures is that staff will take a time-stamped photo of the property as the violation is occurring. So we'll be able to see the date and time with a picture of the house in the background with the sprinklers on. A letter will be sent to the customer providing written warning with the photo attached. And then they will have a week to address that violation. And then any second or subsequent violation would be followed up with an additional letter to the customer notifying them that the surcharge will be added to the next water bill. And we're proposing to begin implementation starting tomorrow. One good thing in terms of conservation updates, since we've been starting this since January, is that overall Yuba City customers have conserved 20.5% on a metered basis compared to 2013. So we've had tremendous compliance within Yuba City. But when I go back to the graph showing potential projections for 2015, that's why it's so necessary. Even though we've reached the 20% goal, it's really necessary for customers to continue to conserve as much as they can so that we can carry over as much water as possible into next year in case we continue to have an additional year of severe drought. Some of the measures that we've done in terms of conservation, water conservation education, we participated in the summer stroll, we had a booth at the fair, we have information on our website. We have a water rebate program for changing out toilets, also doing for commercial establishments having the spray nozzles and the smart irrigation timers. To date, we've had 0 applications for the rebate. We've had a lot of people requesting how to get the application online, and we've had questions about follow-up, how do I submit the application and my receipt, but we have yet to receive an actual application. Also, Council in July approved the Water Smart program, which will target our top 5,000 residential water users. We've offered water audits. To date, we've had 3 requests for residential water audits, which we go into the home and make recommendations for how that home can conserve water. We've offered assistance to adjusting sprinkler timers, especially with this requirement of the odd and even addresses. So far, 170 customers have taken us up on that assistance. Door hangers for irrigation issues, we've handed out 680 door hangers to date. Leak detection and notification letters. So when we read the monthly, on a monthly basis, the water meters, if there has been a continuous stream of water within the last 24 hours on that meter, it lets us know that there's a leak detection on that meter. And so we sent out 1,658 letters in August. When we read the meters September 1st, that number was brought down to 1,529 leak reports. And the last letters were sent out towards the end of August, so we're going to give people a little bit more time to try to adjust if they have a potential leak. We've handed out conservation kits at the water treatment plant. We've handed out approximately 30. And then through Terrell, we modified the My Yuba City app to allow reporting of water wasters. And to date, we have had 66 water wasters reported. So the recommendation is that even though customers are meeting the statewide goal of 20% conservation, it is essential to enforce emergency water restrictions to retain as much of the Department of Water Resources State Water Project carryover water as possible for 2015, plus the fact that it's required through the State Water Resources Control Board. And then we're requesting Council adopt a resolution declaring that water supply conditions are such that they dictate and justify the need for the implementation of emergency water restrictions and authorize staff to issue violations per the municipal code. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Diana from the council?
To the mayor. We have the drought resistant plant demonstration park at Sam Brennan Park. And that was something that we did a number of years ago. How successful has that been?
I do not think that's been very successful. Number one, I don't think a lot of people know that it's there. Number two, we don't get a lot of questions or feedback about the park. And I know we haven't done probably a great job of advertising that it's there. One of the other things, full disclosure, we watered some of the plants too much, so we had to replace some of the plants. You know, it's drought tolerant. It's not meant to be watered on the same schedule as the rest of the landscaping.
One of the a suggestion that someone brought to me was that perhaps on our city website that we should have something that talks about xeriscape landscaping and the drought resistant plantings and what are available, what people can do. Because right now, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or any other nursery, you know it's hard to get that information. So it'd be nice to have that available on our website so that people could have some idea of what type of plantings that they could use to make this happen, and so that they can cut back on their watering.
We can definitely do that.
Councilmember Buckland.
Diana, just one observation that I'd like to make, and I echo much of what Council or our Vice Mayor just had to talk about, and also maybe looking at even dwarf planting within our city landscape environment that's been brought forward by citizens talking about that. But the other observation that I would like, and especially when we start talking about enforcement, I just sent out a check the other day to the police department for excessive alarm. And, you know, I took care of the problem. I had adopted a dog from the pound, and I didn't know she was a leaper, so she was going over the fence. She did it 3 times in about a week's period of time, and that cost me my 3 alarm responses. And I'm not going to beg out of that. I mean, I love the dog, and anybody want a Jack Russell Terrier? I've got one.
It's an expensive
She jumps.
dog.
She jumps. Everything's been taken care of so far that's really expensive, but you can have her. Small, 11 pounds.
Police officers got a police alarm.
I have an alarm on my house. I'm afraid of the dark. Bit on power outages for sprinklers. When we do have a power outage, and we had one on the south end of Yuba City here just a couple of weeks ago, mine's defaulted at 5 o'clock in the morning. It kicks off and like every day, unless you go back out there and reset your the timer. So that's something that I would like to at least have taken into consideration during the enforcement phase that we'd be looking at, because during the summertime we do have an occasional power outage.
Even city facilities are subject to that, where we'll have a power outage and that resets the timers.
Right.
So we will try to have a common sense approach to this and be sensitive to the fact that there are things that happen out of your control that can cause issues with the timers.
Appreciate that.
Diana, one of the things I noticed you mentioned is there was 1,650 letters that were sent to people at leaks, and now it only dropped by 100, and now there's like 1,500 letters that have gone out again. Why such a small decrease on so much people that are wasting water?
So one thing is that we sent out 500 letters every Monday for the previous 3 weeks. So some of the people didn't receive letters until last week, so they haven't had a chance to address their issues. The other things is that some of these letters, it might have gone to a commercial store that has some type of recirculating freezer component, or if you have a water cooler that's constantly, they're supposed to be recirculating, but if they don't have the recirculating type, that can cause that leak to come up. There's many things that can cause the leak besides the leak alarm, besides an actual leak. And so that's one of the things is that we want to monitor, go back on October 1st, read the meter, see if that number's been reduced anymore, and then we will be following up with the people that still have leak alarms to see if we'll do more investigation as to the type of facility that it is and determine whether or not maybe they actually do have water running 24 hours a day. But for the most part of residential use, shouldn't have water running for a 24-hour period nonstop.
The other thing, one of the things Councilmember Starkey and I noticed in our briefing, and he brought this up this morning, is, and you just brought it up as well, is offering service for people that don't know how to set their timers.
Yes.
And I think out of what, 30,000 homes, 32,000 homes in city limits, we've only gotten 179 requests. So we need to make that service more available, either on the website or either in the utility bill, to let people know that somebody from the city will come out and actually program those meters. Again, because a lot of people, once they're set, and even their gardeners don't know how to do it. So that could probably help of doing it from 2 days a week or 3 days a week. That could probably save quite a bit of water that way.
To the mayor,
Yes.
I believe that was stated in the letter that went out to everybody.
It was.
Apparently, a lot of people don't pay much attention to what comes in the mail.
But we can always do more promotion.
I'm just trying to help increase that 179.
I hear you.
Any other questions from council members?
Sounds
Okay.
like a great program.
Okay, if not, I need a motion.
I'll
So
make that.
moved.
Okay,
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, item number 15 is